Welcome back. It is the last full week of our summer vacation, so I am determined to make this be the last video for this thing. We'll see if it happens or not. Thanks to some help from our friends, we were able to get the roof all finished up. So roof is done, siding is up, although it still needs some screws here or there, but that can wait and be done whenever. I got a hole cut here for a chicken door, and I need to build, of course, a door, human door, and gotta finish the nesting boxes. I picked this up off of the Amazon, so I gotta try and get that installed over here. And I'm running into a bit of an issue that I gotta get figured out, and that's this corrugated stuff that won't sit flush on there, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. I started working on this last week. I cut this hole and I just couldn't quite figure out how I wanted to do it, so I had to just walk away. Sometimes you have to do that, and I'm glad I did, because I actually put this hole a little too high, because when this thing extends up, it needs space, and the amount of space that it needs is more than I gave it. So I'm gonna have to set this down a little further and cut a bigger hole here. But that's okay. This excess will be covered up back here, so it won't really matter if it's open. That's pretty slick. It's got a camera on it. I don't know if our Wi-Fi will reach out here, but we'll see. I think the way I'm gonna do this is frame out the inside with some 2x4s here, and then on the outside I'm gonna use some smaller wood, but I'm also gonna frame it out here, and then that way I'll have something to screw on, or screw that down to, that's not metal. And then that frame will get, I'll just zip some screws. Hopefully I'll be able to zip some screws through that to kind of like squeeze these together and hold it all in. That is not how I meant to do that. Well, take it back apart. Not that anything else is square on this thing, but you know, can't hurt. There's the outside. Hopefully the hole's big enough. Haven't checked yet. Well, I kind of have, but haven't actually held it up there. I got that dude a little crooked, but oh well. This looks kind of jankety in here, but it's just a chicken coop. It'll work, we hope. Yep, looks like it all lines up pretty well. Just gotta zip some screws into that and we'll have that installed. Of course, I gotta get the solar panel thrown up there too. We are off the grid after all. Even the chicken coop has to be solar. So this thing came with these little dinky screws. I don't think I'm going to use them. I think I'm actually going to use some of these. The shaft part is the right size to go through the hole, but the ridges on here are a little bit big, but it'll actually, whenever you turn it, it'll go through. So I think I'm going to use them instead, so we get something a little bit more secure here. Need this on so I can open it up and see how it's lining up here. Yeah, on second thought, I may not use these because they'll probably split the wood out. I guess I gotta use those little ones. Ugh. It'll be okay. They even give you a cute little screwdriver. How nice. You know what? I should pre-drill these. I'll figure this out sooner or later. Already got one hole marked there. May as well use it. And now I can't get them to back out because they're cheap. Ugh, that's frustrating. I'm gonna have to drill those out and put different screws in, I guess. On another note, I said a long time ago probably that we designed this chicken coop passive solarly, and there's a good opportunity to show you how that's working right now. So this is the south-ish facing side of the chicken coop, and we have windows there for ventilation. And of course it's summertime, so if you notice with the roof overhang here, the shadow is right almost up to the bottom of the windows. So this is going to keep the sun from beating in during the summertime. But as we progress into winter, that line should creep up and we'll get some sun in there to warm it up. Actually, I didn't account for this overhang of roofing, so I made it a little bit too long because, well, it's close enough though, I guess, but we just won't get as much sun in the summer or in the winter time when we get to that point. But hopefully that'll help regulate the temperature in there. I probably need to also put some sort of what do they call that? Thermal mass. That's the word I couldn't think of. Yeah, some, I don't know, water or, well, that'd freeze up maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Figure something out. That's down the road though. But anyway, back to installing the chicken coop door. Yeah, I think I should have followed my gut on those screws and not used them. But I've got some other screws I can try that are not quite as big as those decking screws or whatever they are that I typically use. So we're going to give that a try. And it looks like part of the problem, it's not totally the fault of the screws. Part of the problem is the unevenness of the wall. So like whenever I cinched it up tight, it's kind of bending it slightly. So I just need to be careful and watch when I'm putting the screws in to make sure that it doesn't pull it up too tight, and then it should work. All right, seems like that's working good enough for now. On to something else. Actually, no, I gotta do the solar panel. Forgot about that. I am not using the El Cheapo screws for this. Once again, these are like just a little too big, but I think we'll be able to get it to work. See if I can get that other piece on there. Just wanted to make sure that this wasn't gonna hit that roof there and not work properly. This solar panel's pretty itty bitty, so I don't think it'll matter too much. I wanted something, well, I had to get it out away from this. I didn't want to screw into the metal. And there's a tarp also that goes on top of this that I think we're gonna use. So I want to be able to get that up under there. Well, if you get one of these, be real careful to not cross-thread that. Gonna use my sensor align app to get this thing at the right angle, but I can't do that and record because it's on my phone, so sorry. Got the panel all aligned. Now I just need to feed the cord down through there. Got plenty of cord, which is good. I'll probably just like wrap it around this, the excess, so it's up under there, and run it over and plug it in. That kind of wrapped up and run up here, and actually was able to run it down the inside and get it down through the corrugated spots and back out the top there. So I'm just trying to keep it somewhat concealed and make sure that it didn't get in the way of this door raising and lowering. And now we can move on to something else. All right, we're on to the nesting boxes. Try to get this wrapped up. So I just cut a couple of supports coming out here and screwed them on to kind of get me out flush with the front of this thing. Next thing I'm gonna do is put a board across here. So I need to cut that, and that'll brace that. And then I'm probably gonna put a roof up here and probably use some of these siding pieces to put on sides. And then I gotta figure out dividers, but I haven't got that far yet. Super not fancy, but I just had this little piece laying around and I just zipped some screws in it. And this is mainly just to hopefully deter the chickens from roosting up here. Hopefully I got a big enough slant on that. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. If it's doesn't work, I can just take the screws out and redo it. My board's all cut. Just gotta get them installed now. At the sides and the roof, and now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do dividers. And there we are with the dividers. I left a gap up here because I don't know if I want to angle this anymore yet. I still have to figure out what angle is the best on that. And I don't think it'll matter. If it does, if they don't like it, then I guess I can make some bigger pieces to put in there. But as I made these removable anyway, so they just pull out, and I just cut some little scrap pieces of wood and put in there, and it's not super fancy, but it works. Keeps that pretty sturdy. At least I think so. Good enough anyway. Well, I'm not very good at making doors, but I've got a door frame made and hung. There it is on the hinges. Probably gonna put siding on the outside of it. I got 2 door hinges on it and a cross brace going from that hinge up to the corner here, and that's to try and keep the door from sagging, which in some of my previous door builds I've had trouble with. So hopefully I've learned my lesson, and hopefully that helps. Now I gotta go find some siding or something to sheathe it with. I had to piecemeal together some siding, but we got it done. Hits up there. I don't know how I feel about that. I might have to do something about it, but I think it works all right. Just need latches and such on there, and might have to. I was leaving this open up here for venting, but I may have to put something up there to kind of block that. My idea is that generally speaking, this is out here is a little, I mean, it's safer, but this is just chicken wire except for down there. I might need to put more of that up, I don't know. But anyway, but the chicken coop itself is more predator proof. So I need to make sure that there's nothing that can get in there at night. I'm not real experienced with keeping chickens, but I would think most of the big predators would be active at night, and during the day it would be more like birds of prey and stuff, which, you know, this will protect from that. But I don't know how well they'll work against bigger predators. And the latch on the door, I'm gonna stick a carabiner through it too, just to make sure. I also got some latches added on to the nesting boxes. I'll put some carabiners in these as well, so nothing can open them. All right, we got some more progress. I cut a piece of a pallet out here for a little shelf, so when the chickens come in, they have some place to go immediately. And then I put a oak log. We've been clearing brush, so I got all kinds of this stuff out here for them to climb down, and hopefully that'll give them a place to hop up here into a nesting box. I got the roosting bar put over here. I suppose they could roost on this too if they want, but I'll have to get some sort of a way for them to get up on that because that's pretty high up. Out here, I started working on a ramp for them to get up using some more pieces of oak. And for this, all I'm doing is kind of like notching out a little spot to kind of flatten it and then just screwing down. I've cut a bunch of pieces, some of them bigger, smaller than others. So I'm gonna put and make it kind of like a ladder. So I've never built a chicken ladder, so I put some bigger ones and put them closer together up here so that because it's the steepest part. And then down here, that's not much of an angle. So my way of thinking, they can just hop up and walk up that middle part. And then they've got some more footing holds whenever they get up higher. And you know what? That's homemade. So if it doesn't work, guess what? Tear it apart and fix it. Something already thinks that this is their house. What are you doing? Meow meow. Mm-hmm. Rory cat. She gets bigger every day. That's something we're a little unsure of, is how the cats are going to take to the chickens. The other cats, Rudy and Ruthie, when we got them, were around chickens and they were fine. But I don't know about Miss Rory. We'll just have to play it by ear and see. I guess we could just turn it into a cat house and not get chickens. But they already have a cat house. Just got to investigate all the things, I guess. You gonna try out the ladder? Come on, Roy Cat. Come on. Guess she's not interested in trying out the ladder. Bags are way more fun. So inside, of course, I got that coming down, and I put another one up and across and over to this roosting bar. So they got all kinds of places to roost now. I'm probably going to regret doing all this because it's making this all pretty messy in here. But like I said, I can just take it all apart if I don't like it and redo it. So, but this will get us by for now. Well, to protect the run a bit more, I got a 9 by 11 foot 9mm tarp and put it up there. So I've got it. It was actually, I guess the 11-foot length was pretty much right on to go from that bar over and down. And then I just zip tied all of the grommets all the way around, going up and down each side. So hopefully that'll help keep some sun and keep some more dry areas in there if it rains. We did leave a little bit out here. That way if the chickens want to come out and sun themselves, they have a little bit of space to do that. So once I got this tarp up here, I was over here putting these zip ties on, and I got in real close and this door came down. So I think I like blocked some light. So this is gonna be interesting. I probably have to adjust this thing because I've got it set for, there's like numbers on there telling you like what the, I guess it's lumens, I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna have to reset this because this tarp is shading this to make sure that it closes and opens at the right time. Just something else that we're gonna, well, that's something else too. I need to put a bumper on that because I've lost count of how many times I bumped my head on that. But anyway, what I was talking about is we're gonna have to get some light in here too because it's pretty dark. Not for the chickens, but for us. If we need to get in here at night, like even during the day, it's pretty dark out, or dark in there. You can see when I back out. Once again, something that's gonna be kind of ongoing that I deal with. Probably we'll get some sort of like solar pendant light or something like I have in our outhouse that I can throw in there and we can turn on and off whenever we want to have some light. I had this indoor outdoor rug kind of thing that I cut a piece off and put that down in there, so hopefully when the eggs roll in, it'll help to keep them from getting broken. I think we're finally at a place where this is usable. Everything's not ideal yet, but I can keep working on it because we're supposed to be getting chickens here in a few days. So we'll see how they like everything. If we need to make changes, then we'll make changes. But I'm pretty happy with this so far, other than a few odds and ends, and I gotta get waters and feeders and all that good stuff set up. I think we're good to go. And I do have ideas for automating some of that to try and make things a little bit less hands-on for us. But that's not gonna get done in this video, of course. It'll be in another one. But with that, I am concluding the actual building of the chicken coop. So if you've watched through all of these, all of this video and the whole series, then I hope you got something out of it. I would say don't build a chicken coop the way I did. Some things I would do differently is with the way I built this structure and everything. Basically, it's a standalone structure. If I had to do it over, I would not incorporate this run into the coop. I would have put it on one end of the coop and made the run actually longer. But things just kept changing, you know. I was gonna make it kind of a coop on one end, mostly just a run. And then the more I got thinking about it, I was like, no, I want to make this more like permanent and legit. So that's kind of why I did it the way I did it. But that's one thing that, yeah, I would have done differently. So I would not suggest you do that. The nesting boxes remain to be seen how well they'll work. The thing I can say on that is make sure that you get your measurements correct and you think about board widths and all those good things, that you don't have to tear things apart and redo them like I did. So anyway, once again, if you stuck around this long, I always thank you for watching, and I hope you have a very blessed day.